You guys asked, and I am here to deliver. I'm going to be doing a very in-depth how to get the perfect pedicure at home yourself. Yes, for free. Hello, welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before. There's been a video that you guys have been asking from me for a while now. It's how I do my perfect pedicure at home, and it's basically like a professional pedicure. A pedicure is different than a manicure. For me, a manicure isn't like self-care, like I'm just anxious the entire time if I go and get my nails done. I haven't gotten my nails done in a salon in like definitely over 5 years. But a pedicure is different. A pedicure is about the experience. Someone massaging your feet and your legs, and you get to sit in the massage chair. So this is only for like if you want to save money, honestly, because I still go and get pedicures all the time. But if you do want to know how to do literally like the perfect pedicure at home yourself, keep watching. When you go and get a pedicure, you're usually soaking your feet in the little like foot bath thing with the jets, and it's super relaxing. That's actually like an important step in softening up the cuticle, softening up if you have like any calluses. You don't need to go out and buy something for this step. You can literally just fill up your bathtub with warm water and do everything I'm going to be doing in this video. If you want to be extra fancy and have like the real at-home spa experience, you can get yourself a little like foot bath massager. Now this thing's pretty great. It plugs in, it has a little remote, it heats the water up. Like if you put cold water in here, it'll get hot on its own. And it has little jets, and that's honestly like my favorite part. And you can like roll your feet on those things. I never do that. Like I said, you don't need this. You can fill up your bathtub. You can honestly sit on your counter and put your feet in your sink. You can get a big bowl. You can do anything, so you don't need to buy this thing, but it's pretty nice. I have not done a pedicure in months. I have not touched my toes. I have not cut. I have not filed. Basically, my nails grow out and then they break off. So don't judge my toes. I'm feeling very vulnerable. I filmed a pedicure video a while back and I privated that hoe. I just like got uncomfortable. Feet are a weird topic on the internet, and I just, you know, just be nice. Now that we have the disclaimer out of the way, we're actually gonna get started. This is my starting point. I haven't done a pedicure in a very long time, so my nails are kind of jagged. I have a lot of overgrown cuticle on the nail plate. Instead of buying everything separately, I definitely suggest just to get like a pedicure kit like this one. They have them at Target, Walmart, honestly some grocery stores, and Amazon. My nails on my toes are already very short. My nail beds are very short as well, but I still am going to clip them to make them as even as possible, and then we are going to file to get them super even. This is where the foot bath comes in. I put a little body soap in there. You can get specific stuff for foot baths to soak your feet if you want that experience. I'm not gonna lie, I don't buy all that, but I do make sure the water is quite warm because I want my cuticles and my overall feet to be very soft for the next few steps that we're gonna do. So I let my feet soak for like 5 to 10 minutes, honestly. I usually have a show on while doing this. I take my feet out and apply cuticle remover all over the cuticles and on the sidewalls, and then I actually put my feet back in the warm water and let that soak for just like a minute or two. I have just noticed that cuticles on feet are way thicker and overgrown and harder to remove on toes rather than fingernails, so there's sometimes a few extra steps that I need to take to really get rid of them, so your nail polish or whatever you do on them isn't going to lift later on around the cuticle. Taking a cuticle pusher and pushing back the eponychium, which is that flap of skin on the edge of your nail, and then also scraping the cuticle off of the nail plate itself. And you can just see how much of it is coming off. While I am doing my right foot right now, my left foot is still in the water soaking. take out my left foot to push back and scrape off the cuticle. And while I do that, I put my right foot back into the warm water. Putting my left foot back into the water. Now, I definitely only suggest this for people that kind of know what they're doing a little bit with nails. And if you are a beginner, definitely do not do this. Using an e-file with a pointed nail bit to lift the cuticle from the nail plate. This makes it look overall a little bit more neat. It helps remove any other cuticle that's just really hard to get off and is super stubborn. And it's going to help us with our next step, which is clipping off that dead skin that is still left behind. Put that foot back into the water, and I'm doing the same exact thing on my other foot. I give my toes, and especially in the cuticles, a very good scrub. Dry my foot off, and now I'm going to nip away any skin that is left over when we pushed back the cuticles. And this just helps give it a cleaner look. Definitely a part that you want to be very, very careful, and you don't want to cut yourself because then that just opens up possibility for infection. And just be very careful if you do this. This is definitely a step for people that kind of know what they're doing. taking a 180 grit buffer, and I usually just stick with the less fine side when buffing the actual natural nail because I don't want it to be that rough. But this is just to help even things out. You don't want to go too crazy. I will say my toenails are thicker than my natural nails, and I can kind of do it a little bit more on my toes. You still don't want to thin out your nails. This is to remove shine, and if you have any like peeling or anything like that, to just help even that out, because for some reason my toenails peel sometimes. I don't know. When I move on to my left foot, I put my right foot back into the water for our next step. I take my right foot out and put my left foot in. I get some calluses on the balls of my feet, on my heels, and on the inner ball of my foot. I wear sandals a lot and it kind of just happens sometimes. If you're gonna be doing this, make sure you wear gloves because this stuff can be strong and you don't really want to get it on your skin. I apply that all over the bottom of my feet. It depends on the product you're using, so make sure to read the instructions. I usually wait about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how bad my calluses are too. If they're not that bad, I won't wait that long. So while my feet are waiting for the callus remover to do its thing, let me put you onto something that is equally as cozy as a fresh pedicure. Bombas. I really love slippers, but it's really hard for me to find a pair that actually lasts a long time and that I don't need to rebuy in a year. These are the women's Sunday slippers, and I have been living in these. They're super soft, and I am a homebody. I rarely leave the house, and it is super nice to be able to wear these around the house because they are so freaking comfortable. They do not just have slippers. They also have a wide variety of bras and shirts and clothes. Bomba literally spends over 2 years perfecting each one of their products, and you can definitely tell. Everything is super soft, supportive, and very well made. I've also been loving their ruffle athletic quarter socks. I wear these when I go on walks or work out because they actually stay in place and don't slip down like other ruffle socks that I have worn. They have built-in arch support, no annoying seams, and they're super breathable. But what I love even more than how they feel is what Bombas stands for. Bombas is a purpose-driven brand. For every single purchase that everyone buys, they donate one to a person who is homeless or in need. So far, they have donated 150 million pieces of clothing. Also, if you are very picky like me, they have a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like what you got, isn't up to your standard, or if your dog eats your sock or something, they'll make it right. You can use my code Kaylee for 20% off of your first purchase. I will have it linked into my description, and I will also put a QR code here if you're watching like on a TV or something. Feel good and do good with Bombas, because knowing your purchase is helping someone in need just hits a little bit different. Thank you so much, Bombas, for sponsoring this video. For the top part of the foot, you want to use the lighter side of the scrubber, and that is the finer side, because the rougher side is just a little bit too rough for this skin. And then for the ball of your foot, you want to switch to using the darker side. I put my right foot back into the water while I scrub my left foot, and then I put my left foot in the water. Tree Hut scrubs are my favorite because they're more on the affordable side. Really give your feet a good scrub to exfoliate everywhere, and then removing the scrub in the foot bath. So that is the last time we are going to be using the foot bath, so we can put that away now. Wiping down all of my toes with some rubbing alcohol to make sure they are disinfected before we move on to our next steps, and to remove any residue from the products. I have found that wooden cuticle pushers are the best for removing any stuff you have under your toenails. Instead of using the disposable toe separators, I got reusable ones, and this came in a pack of like 5, and they're these cute little flowers, and I really like them. They make my pedicure experience a lot more fun. At this point, you can totally go in with normal base coat, normal gel polish, but one thing about my toes that I'm not the biggest fan of is that my nail ends right here, when I wish it would end up here, not like super long. My toes are really stubby and it makes them look like little like baby feet, and I really hate it. I want them more squared off. I will be going in with gel extensions on my toes. Now, I have done this multiple times. I haven't had any issues with fungus. As long as you're taking the right steps and being really cleanly, you shouldn't really have that issue. If you are more prone to fungus and stuff, maybe don't put gel extensions on your toes. But like, if you can get away with wearing dark colors on your toes, you're most likely gonna be fine. But this is how I get my toes to literally like look perfect. But I wanted to include all of the other steps with like filing and shaping them to get really perfect, so if you didn't want to go in with these. Same as doing it on my fingers, you want to size up the gel extensions to your toes. If they don't fit, pick one that is a little bit bigger and file the edges into the shape of your nails. Even when doing a normal pedicure just with polish, you still want to go in with dehydrator first to really make sure there's no leftover residue or oils on the nail plate that would make the polish on your nails chip or not last as long. And then you want to go in with primer on the nail plate as well, and this is just going to help everything adhere. So again, you have a long-lasting pedicure. Now getting into the Gel X application, applying a thin layer of Extend Gel on all of my toes. Before curing that, taking a nail art brush with some acetone and making sure there's none of that gel flooding the cuticle or the sidewalls. One, it doesn't look good. Two, it's not good for you because it can lead to an allergic reaction. I cure that for 60 seconds. Apply a layer of same exact Extend Gel on the gel extension where my nail is going to go, and then I scrape off a bigger glob in the middle of the gel extension and kind of move it up. And you kind of have to get the feel for how much you need to put to fill up the gel extension, and it just kind of takes practice. This can be very tedious in the beginning. You don't want to remove the little things on the top of the nail because you can actually use that when applying the gel extensions to your toes. You start by the cuticle. You do not want to put it in your cuticle. You want to have a little bit of space down there and slowly pushing it up with your fingers until it is filled. And of course, when filming this, my flash cure light decided to die, so I just used my big lamp. I hold it with one of my thumbs and just bring the lamp over and cure it for like 10 seconds. But when you are done, make sure you give a full 60-second cure to all of them to make sure they are completely cured, because if you're just flash curing them to stay into place, they are actually not fully cured even though they feel like it. The chemicals in the gel under the gel extension will seep into your natural nail and it will be sitting on your skin under your nail for a very, very long period of time, and that will lead to contact dermatitis, and contact dermatitis is not fun. Obviously, a lot of people that watch my videos are also DIYers, and this is why I talk about allergies so much, because I get comments and DMs on the daily asking how you get rid of contact dermatitis. Dermatitis from other things is different, but contact dermatitis from gel and chemicals does not have a cure. If you get contact dermatitis, it will not go away. This is why I tell you guys you need to be super duper careful with the way you are applying your products and curing it, because it is so, so important. That is the reason why people go to school for this. Now that I've done all of that to the other foot, obviously these look a little long, okay? It's a little crazy. I don't like my toenails this long. I want them to be pretty much the length of my actual toe, and I like a very good, sharp, square shape. I feel like it just looks classier. I don't know. I just like the look of it more. So I'm not going to trim them. I am just going to file them down into the shape. When doing this, to get a very square shape, I make my file very, very flat and almost like lean it towards myself. And I will actually completely turn it and go like back and forth towards myself and away from myself to get it really, really flat on the top. After filing, I'm taking an e-file with a sanding band and removing all of the shine from the gel extensions, and also blending the edge of the gel extension by the cuticle into my natural nail. When I say that, I do not mean I file my actual natural nail. I just file the edge. So it's super duper thin, and you just want to be careful because you should never use like the e-file on your direct natural nail. remove all of the dust with some rubbing alcohol on a little wipe. And the step to really get a pedicure to last is taking some acetone on a nail art brush, applying it to the edge of the gel extension by the cuticle, and this kind of melts it a little bit. You don't want to take too much because then it can get like sticky, but it barely melts it and it makes your gel extensions last so much longer. I'm telling you, I have these on for 4 to 5 weeks. It really depends on how long my toenails grow, because if they get too long, I obviously will take them off and redo them, but this makes lifting completely non-existent for me. I apply a thin layer of that same exact extend gel again, and this is a very necessary step because it helps the structure of the nails and it helps them not be flimsy, and it also helps them last longer because if they're not strong, they can peel off. I cure that for 60 seconds. Now it is time for design. Now originally I did another design, and I recently filmed another design that I thought was prettier and was more like universal that a lot of people would like, and it's just more flattering. So this was filmed at like 2 different times, but you get the point. I used 2 nail polishes to create my perfect like flesh colored base, and so the first polish is the 𝙤𝙤𝙦𝙝 gel polish in 036. You can see it's almost like the same color as my skin, and I apply 1 layer of that all over the nail, cleaning up the cuticle if I have to with a nail art brush and some acetone. Cure that for 60 seconds. Also, I completely forgot to put my little toe separators in, so you can see me doing that now. The toe separators are, by the way, are just to make it a little bit easier if your toes kind of sit on top of each other. Polish doesn't get on your other toes, and it just makes it a lot easier to paint them yourself. The second polish, I have no idea how to say this name, if I'm being honest with you. I will link the exact same one that I used in the description with the exact shade, but it is just this super light, milky, transparent pink, and I'm just applying a coat of that. So for the design, I want to keep it very simple. Sometimes I do crazy nail art on my toes if I'm feeling crazy, but I like a good French tip. I have found that a super duper thin French tip just looks very classy and clean, and it just makes me feel more put together. I'm doing a super pale butter yellow and just taking a super thin long nail art brush, and it is super easy. You can see how quickly I accomplish this. Put a super duper thin straight line on the very tip, and if you mess up, you can take a nail art brush with some acetone and just swipe it underneath. You can add curved sides to it if you prefer that as well, but I do just really like the straight look on a super square nail. This polish is pretty opaque, and I only do 1 coat of that. If I do a design, it usually is on my big toe. There's more room to work with, and I feel like a very universal toe design that is done even at salons is a little flower. This is how I create a hibiscus flower, and I am obsessed with this right now. I add 5 dots, and then next to all of those 5 dots, I add 2 dots. So there's 3 dots in every single little 5 clusters. You don't want to cure yet. Taking a nail art brush on the outer dots, flicking it in, and this is going to make the petal. And you can also flick in a little bit on the inside just to add a little bit more dimension to the flower. So at this point, you want to cure. You can fix the outer dots if they kind of lost its shape. I add 1 dot in the middle, and then taking a nail art brush and just flicking out a little line, and that's going to be the little middle pistil that comes out of the flower. And of course, adding little dots around it and curing that. So just add a little bit more. I'm taking some rhinestone glue and adding some pearls, little gold charms. Before curing it, really making sure they're in the place that I like them. Flash curing it, and then adding some rhinestone glue on top of them, because you will find if you start to work with pearls, they will lose their pearlescent finish on top within a day if you do not encapsulate them. If you're looking for a non-wipe top coat, so a top coat that after you cure, it's not sticky, this one is really good. I add top coat to all of my nails, and then I finish them off with a cure. A few more steps I like to do at the end is add some moisturizer to my feet. I get little hairs that grow on the knuckles of my toes, so I kind of shave that off. When I do a pedicure, I just use like those little face razors, and I have one designated for my toes. Then the final step is adding some sort of cuticle oil, and this is just the one that I had next to me at the moment. Those are the finished toes. About every 5 weeks I will do this. It has saved me a ton of money doing it at home. It looks very clean, and also just like the taking care of my feet portion just helps my feet feel better. I don't have like dead skin on my toes. They're not snagging on stuff. The bottom of my feet are softer. pedicure finished. Pedicures are definitely something that I didn't start doing until like this last year. I used to never have my toes done. This is a newer thing in my routine. It really does make me feel a lot more put together. I wear sandals a lot. I live right next to the beach. It's like right when you get a haircut, have a fresh blowout or a fresh set done on your hands. It just makes me feel a little bit more put together. I hope you guys found this video helpful. As always, everything is linked in the description in order that I used it. I do make some commission off of most of the stuff down there. So if you click on a link, buy something, I get commission off of it. Just like to throw that out there every once in a while because I know not everybody knows. I have so many other videos on other beauty tips, a normal manicure tutorial. I have a many gel X tutorials. I have over like 30 nail videos. I just uploaded a new video on my long hair care routine, and I have a video on like how I glowed up. But I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
I don't know if you like the way I put my words together, but I need you to stick with me just like some birds of feathers. Or like